I had the same reaction to Gnarly you probably did. Jaw firmly on the floor, trying to decipher both what I was hearing and seeing. I was extremely excited for this comeback. Katseye hadn't delivered music in almost a year, and the fan base was seemingly growing tired of Hybe's inaction. Especially since Katseye were popular. Their debut brought in solid numbers, reaching over 250,000 equivalent units within the first week, according to Billboard. Sure, they weren't Islet or Le Seraphim, but were and are a very interesting proposition. What if we gave K-pop music, the genre locked within its own boundaries, to a group with varying ethnicities and nationalities that you wouldn't typically see in K-pop? To put it bluntly, there is very little black, Indian, Filipina, or Latino representation in K-pop. The only other black K-pop idol that I can think of off the top of my head is Fatu from Black Swan. There just isn't representation within the space like there is in Katseye. The rampant, unchecked colorism, cultural appropriation, and racism present within the space has cultured that sort of atmosphere for a while. I mean, we saw this quite recently. So, seeing a girl group formed by Hive with the ethnicities and races that we hadn't seen much of in the K pop sphere was and is very refreshing. And also, very needed. We can argue if Katseye is K pop at all. I would say no, but only by pure definition. Their debut, Sis, or Soft is Strong, is very K-pop adjacent. Touch follows every industry trend we've seen over the last year. You give that to any other girl group and no one would bat an eye. It's very obvious that Katseye were marketing themselves as a K-pop group without the K part, and it worked. They got invited to perform at the 2024 MAMAs along with Islet and Rise. They have a steady, strong fan base that's been patient for quite a while, so when Gnarly drops and it doesn't even sound like a song, I get why some would be pretty frustrated. I hopped on a TikTok this morning, and yes, I operate like any other human. I get up, open my phone, and mindlessly scroll for about 15 minutes. The reactions I saw from individuals such as myself were, let's just say, pretty mixed. A lot of critique around the lyricism and production of the song. Why change what Katseye already had going? Where was Touch? Why are the lyrics so bad? All reasonable questions with one answer, but before we answer it, I'll continue my revelation. It took me about 3 listens to understand what Hybe is doing here. The easiest way for me to explain it is to list it out in a numbered fashion. Gnarly is outlandish, but intentionally so. The popular reaction I saw online was, "This is a waste of talent," or "This took 5+ writers." There were a few that understood its satirical nature. Yes, the girls are screaming, saying a whole bunch of nothing. It's bombastic, nonsensical, and very vulgar. Look, do you really think that 5+ writers and Slow Rabbit produced and wrote this song with the intention to be taken as seriously as Supernova by aespa or Crazy by Le Seraphim? Let's set something straight. There are multiple forms of music as an art expression. There are songs that communicate intricate themes and messages through detailed lyricism or production. Then there is music that is purely meant to get a reaction out of you, a way of testing the listener's attentiveness to its tongue-in-cheek nature. Gnarly is very clearly falling into the latter camp. This song, to me, doesn't feel like it's wanting you to take it seriously. Gnarly is camp in the traditional sense of the phrase, one that's been muddied even by myself in the past. It's over the top, loud, and on first listen, quite an unpleasant experience. Again, let me ask you, do you think it's a coincidence that Laura, one of the best vocalists in the entire group, got a verse that felt like it was thrown together using ChatGPT? Is it a coincidence that almost every member got no individual sections of their own, just thrown onto the chorus? That the song just so happens to scrape by the 2-minute marker? No. This is very deliberate. The professionals, the same creative team who put together Soft is Strong, and the same producer who is responsible for some of BTS's best work created this project with intention behind it. I've seen so many people drag the writers in specific for this song. Oh, they needed 5+ writers for this? Don't you think there may be a reason as to why the lyrics are so corny? So many people are acting as if this song is playing with a straight face, that it wants you to treat it like every other song. And I'm not treating it like every other song, because I know what Hybe's getting at here. Gnarly is a deliberate 180. Soft is Strong was the prototypical K-pop, Western pop hybrid. Softer tones and catchy hooks, something you would easily find floating around the ocean of K-pop releases. From an outsider's observation, the marketing for Katseye seemed to revolve around promoting these members as if they were your average K-pop group, to manufacture K-pop in the West itself rather than try to pull K-pop into the West by force. See, K-pop has friction with Western pop. It features shades of trends that have already died off in the Western pop scene. That, coupled with the xenophobic outlook many tabloids and onlookers have towards K-pop, its rise in the West is apparent over the last decade, but it's never taken that next step. The closest we've seen to true K-pop dominance was BTS performing at the Grammys and being nominated several times, and it's not a coincidence that it was revolving their English music. Katseye was seemingly an attempt to revive the girl group within the Western space and blend what we typically find in K-pop into the fabric of a Western-feeling group. It's a smart strategy that bore fruit during their debut period. Soft is Strong sold pretty well, and Katseye were discussed frequently in both K-pop and non-K-pop spaces alike. Then they were thrusted into the dungeon for damn near a year. Why not ride the wave of success? I think Gnarly is a signal that Katseye will be flipping their concept going forward. Touch had a much softer, dare I say, manufactured feel. If you just so happen to enjoy some New Jeans or Islet, Touch may have interested you. Touch was very K-pop, but was way too vanilla for me. It was catchy, but my interest in Katseye didn't come from their debut, but the prospect of their talent. Regardless of how you feel on who should or should not have gotten into the group, Katseye are clearly talented, both vocally and with performance. So, what if Katseye took on a more serious concept? One that delineates the exact opposite of K-pop. Gnarly, to me, and I preface this is just pure speculation on my part, feels like a response to the Katseye are just K-pop talking point. It almost feels like a jab at K-pop itself. Think about the distinct imagery and lyricism present in both the song and music video. The music video is just wild and wacky with pretty intense imagery. I mean, those flies were fucking on that sandwich. You would never see something like that in a traditional modern-day K-pop music video. K-pop MVs typically boast expert editing and production, and Gnarly's near disorienting MV feels like a clear satire on the average K-pop music video. The flashy outfits and pompous behavior, it's like a caricature of what an idol is. The lyrics are vulgar and nonsensical, both a combination but also juxtaposition of what the typical K-pop song presents. Look, a solid amount of K-pop, lyrically, is fluff that doesn't feel very believable. But it's typically pretty PG, not overstepping its bounds while being playful and catchy. Gnarly is both similar and different in its approach. The lyrics are straight up garbage. They are just horrible and to boot extremely vulgar in comparison to the average K-pop song. But that's the point. You think Laura is given trashy verses because the production team thinks the audience will take it seriously? Hell no. She's given trashy verses because it's satire. It's a mockery of artists who actually try to make music that sounds like that, whilst simultaneously having a chorus that does serve. I will not hear any backlash on this. The chorus and the I'm the shit have been stuck running circles in my brain since the teasers. The whole vibe just reeks of arrogance, and I love it. Gnarly is the best right hook I've listened to in a while. It's a, oh, so you thought our concept was going to be this? Shock to the system. No, I don't think Katseye are or ever were going to operate like a typical K-pop group. In fact, I think the vision is the complete opposite. Gnarly is just the start. Now again, just speculation here, but I think Gnarly is just the beginning of a greater change in Katseye's concept and approach. Instead of melding with the K-pop space, why not do the opposite while also providing satire on what K-pop is? I saw a comment on TikTok where someone said, but if this was in Korean, you would eat it up. And the response said, well, yeah, but it's in English, so it sucks. I just sat there for a second, wondering if that person who responded understood what they really just said. This song is for those people, the ones who eat up the slop K-pop pumps out on a daily basis. It's making fun of the nonsensical lyricism found throughout K-pop. I was honestly puzzled, as almost every video I watched and every comment was taking the song seriously, like 100% straight face, as if this is what every Katseye song will sound like moving forward. As if the producers and the lyricists who put together this song were doing it with a straight face. Could this entire video be Taeju gaslighting himself into believing Gnarly is a part of a bigger conceptual switch and that it was a deliberate move to shock audiences? Yeah, it could be. It wouldn't surprise me if I'm dead wrong on my analysis here. It's actually a running theme on my channel. But something about this song just doesn't sit right with me. And not in a negative way. I just feel as if this is a prelude to a larger album or project that further explores this musical direction. The funk hyperpop fusion that nestles itself on the opposite side of the pop spectrum in comparison to Debut or Touch. If Gnarly is what I believe it to be, it's an incredibly smart move by Hybe. People are talking about Gnarly, whether it be positively or negatively. It will generate buzz and streams. It's the age-old any press is good press. Is that the most efficient way to grow and stabilize a fandom? No. I guarantee many will leave just based on this song alone. But do you really think Katseye disappeared into the basement for nearly a year after a successful debut to unearth with just this? I mean, remember when Debut dropped? A vast amount of people were underwhelmed, and then Touch kind of came out of nowhere. Don't be surprised if Hybe is hiding an EP or an album behind this. I don't believe, nor want to believe, this is all we're getting. Just this one satirical single. It could be the fan in me. I like Katseye. The members are super talented and great on camera with seemingly strong chemistry. Their talents are not to be wasted on music that sounds bad unintentionally. To me, Gnarly is a chess move in a larger game of Hybe gauging the audience. Did the Boba and Tesla references really not key people into how satirical this was? I mean, how did this fly over people's heads? Shit's not 30,000 feet in the air, it's staring you in the face, and I'm just wondering if I'm the only one who got it. I don't want that to sound like a defense of the overall product. The song sucks, flat out. The choreo was great, the looks are great, the MV was on the brink of overstimulating, but it was fun. The song, though, yeah, it sounds like two trains colliding in the worst way possible, but there's a stark difference in my reaction if it's done on purpose comparative to an unintentional fuck-up. I'm leaning towards this being the former. Again, this is the same creative team that led a sonically cohesive and strategic debut. Are we really going to act like the Gang 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 should be taken in seriousness? I'm sure this will be an easily disagreeable position. I'm sure I'll get plenty of comments from individuals who don't agree with me or my speculation regarding the group in this release. That's fine. I could be completely wrong in my assessment, and I'm sure your deductions are more realistic. Gnarly sparks an internal conversation for me. What is music and how can we portray it? Does it need to be listenable, or can it in itself be a painting, a complete mess, top to bottom, with the pure intention of being a complete mess? Does promoting it on Studio Choom or releasing it on Spotify indicate that this release should be taken seriously, or is it just another ploy from Hybe? Am I theory crafting too much? Yes, I did grow up watching MatPat. The theorist nature lies in my blood. Maybe this is all just a coping session, airing out some wild precautions to shield myself from the stark realization that no, this song was just ass and the writers behind it sucked at their job. It can't possibly be that simple, right? The countless hours that went into recording, production, and MV creation couldn't have all been for what? A song that sounds like an angsty high schooler wrote it in 2021? Yeah, I don't buy it. I don't buy this shit for 1 second, and if I'm correct in my assessment, it's a genius move. The probability of me being ridiculously off base here are very high. I would say in the 90s. If Gnarly truly meant in all seriousness and is not some indication of a larger concept change or message, then Hybe, please for the love of God, hire me to be Katseye's creative team lead, because I cooked up something more profound in this video than whatever that was. I understand the general public's backlash to this song. It's corny, and it feels like an honest troll. Fans have been waiting a good while for a comeback just to get this? Your confusion is warranted. I don't even think you're incorrect in your assessment. This song does suck. The lyrics are stupid. But let me just humor you. What if that's on purpose? The counter argument to that is, well, even if it is intentional, it should still sound good. Why, yes, of course. Even with my theorizing at its very base, the song shouldn't sound like the musical equivalent of a landfill. But the satire, MV, and choreo for me make up for its sonical shortcomings. Gnarly embraces its namesake. It's difficult to comprehend how Katseye went from this to this. I'll let Hybe cook here. I want to see what more to this there is than just a poorly written hyperpop flop. I'm going to avoid the shortcomings of my past self and overreact and go into TikTok and tell everyone this song is horrible, I can't believe they're wasting the talent of these girls, I hate Hybe, etc., etc. I'll just let those tidings pass and see what direction Katseye go in from here. Because things could get really interesting. Oh, and before I leave you, please do not respond to the assessment of this song being satire with the phrase, oh, you're just gaslighting yourself and everyone else. A song can be bad. You can admit that your favorite group's song is bad. No, Stacy, that's not what's happening here. I'm analyzing this work with a nuanced lens and consume art with a palette that expands farther than this is good or this is bad. No one is trying to cover for the song being bad by pointing out the obvious satirical elements of the release. You're just willing to hop on any hate train you see for the fucking sake of it because you have nothing else better to do. Sorry for keeping you over our scheduled runtime here. I just saw so many TikTok comments and YouTube comments of people completely downplaying what this song is attempting to do in favor of their very shallow analysis of the piece and then imposing that analysis onto other people. The great thing about art and music as an extension is that we can all take something from it, and even if my crazy theory I present in this video is completely incorrect, at least it's a fun little headcanon that makes me feel better about a song that kind of feels like I'm throwing pot and pans at a concrete wall. Anyway, that's all. See you in the next one.